Hi everyone, welcome on board. Welcome to yet another GRE King live session. So, as you guys know, today we are going to talk about how to tackle data interpretation questions in GRE. Okay, so before I start with this, I hope you guys are preparing for all your solving all the questions, solving all ebooks, watching all videos that are there on your dashboard, and rigorously preparing for your exam, because you can go and check out my other lives which I have done. So ideally you should be aiming your to give your GRE. If you're planning to go abroad next year, you should ideally be aiming to give your GRE somewhere around maximum 15th October. You should not delay beyond that. Okay, and people who are prepared, you can ideally start taking dates from September 30, or somewhere around first week of October also. So that's the maximum that you can actually appear for your GRE. Okay, if you are aiming to go abroad next year, okay, fall 2021, and you also want to get some good number of scholarships. Okay, because the earlier you apply, the first round of applications for majority of the colleges is going to be somewhere in November, December. So you also have to start with your applications and everything. The earlier you apply, the better it is going to be for you to get scholarships. That is why I'm asking you to give it as early as possible. All you need is a dashboard and live lectures. So we are conducting Monday and Friday 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Live lectures are conducted by GRE toppers. And for people who don't have access to the dashboard, what you can do is you can check the link in the description, and you can go to that, and you can use the coupon code GRE King 50, and you can get access to the dashboard. Just check out, I've also done a dashboard video, like once you buy the course, what all things will be included in the dashboard. So there are a lot of sectional tests, ebooks, and mock tests. So you can actually have a look onto that along with all the recorded video lectures. Plus, on top of it, live lectures with GRE toppers Monday, Friday, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Okay, so this is all about it. Now let's move ahead with what kind of data interpretation question comes. So people who know that there are ideally going to be 5 sections in your GRE, total 6 sections. If we leave the AWA sections, then you will have 5 sections, out of which one is going to be experimental. Okay, what I mean by experimental is experimental as in you don't know whether it is going to be quants or verbal. Okay, we don't know about it, whether it is going to be quant section or verbal section, but we are very sure about 4 sections, which is going to be 2 out of the 4 sections are going to be quants and 2 are going to be verbal. And each section will have 20 questions. So that means we know that, short, we will have 40 questions of quants in our GRE exam. So as you know that, there is not a separate segregation that, there is another section called as data interpretation section, but data interpretation is a part of your GRE quants. Okay, so in each section, like if you have 2 sections of GRE quants, in each section will have 20 questions. Okay, so in each section there is going to be 3 questions of data interpretation. Okay, so here 3 questions, here 3 questions. That means there are going to be 6 short questions of data interpretation in your GRE exam. Okay, 6 questions. That means you are going to have 2 sets, one set in one section, the other set in the other section. Okay, so that means you are going to have like 2 complete sets in your GRE quants, and total 6 questions. Now, 6 questions is out of 40 questions is like say 15%. Okay, which is ideally a good number. Also, just to tell you that the data interpretation questions in GRE, you cannot do them wrong, because they are comparatively on the easier end. They don't ask you very difficult complex data interpretation questions, but the complexity is more on how do you calculate your percentages to ratios and all of those things. So it is going to be calculation intensive. Okay, but it is not going to be complex that you see a question and oh my god, मुझे तो ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, start कहाँ से करना है. So ये problem नहीं आएगा. Like if you have actually studied, and if you go to your dashboard, what I have done is there is a separate section on data interpretation, which is divided into data interpretation and data sufficiency. So people who are starting the preparation, what I would recommend is go to your dashboard and watch all the videos of data interpretation. With that, you would come to know that कैसे type के questions आते हैं data interpretation में. उसके बाद sectional test में जाके data interpretation का sectional test भी दे देना. Once you give that sectional test, you will be well versed with okay, अच्छा ठीक है, ऐसे type के questions आते हैं data interpretation में. So that is going to be good to go. Okay, now coming back to the topic that there are going to be total 6 questions, which is like 15% of quants. And I already told you that, these data interpretation questions are going to be calculation intensive. बहुत calculation करना पड़ेगा, but ऐसा complex logic questions नहीं रहेंगे. Okay, so in terms of logic, it is going to be comparatively easy. Now let's come to those 5 tips and trips that you need to keep in mind while you are solving a data interpretation question. Okay, so first and the most important thing is that you need to be very good with numbers, and converting your whole numbers into fractions and ratios and all of those things. That should be on the tip of your tongue. So your mental math techniques or your basic Vedic math techniques are very important. So what you have to do is, on your dashboard you have a section called as Vedic maths, which is your nothing but your mental maths, wherein we have taught all of these things, like how do you quickly convert percentages to fractions, whole numbers to fractions, ratios to percentages, and all of those things. So first and the most important thing is that while you are preparing, you have to be very well versed with these things. Second important thing that you need to keep in mind is परसेंटेज इंक्रीज एंड डिक्रीज. ये वाले जो टाइप के क्वेश्चंस रहते हैं जीआरई के डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन में, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट जीआरई डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन, सो परसेंटेज इंक्रीज डिक्रीज, दिस इज समथिंग दैट दे फोकस ऑन अ लॉट. Okay, so that is something that you have to focus on, that you have to be very good with, like 30% increase or 40% increase, 40% decrease in percentage. So how do you calculate all of those quickly? And you should not be doing like any errors with these things. Okay, so second most important thing is you have to be well versed with percentage change. Okay, your percentage increase decrease, that concept is something that you have to take care of. Third and the most important thing, in fact this should have been like the first thing that you have to keep in mind, there is going to be one data interpretation set, okay, in each section, and all 3 questions are going to be related to that set only. What students usually do mistake is, as soon as you see a data interpretation set, what you guys do is you directly jump to the question. Okay, and you don't bother to see ki kya graph hai, what the graph is talking about, and all of those things, which is ideally wrong. What you should ideally be doing is, first and the most important thing is, once you see the graph, analyze the graph. See what are the legends, what is x-axis, what is y-axis, what it is talking about. If it's a pie chart, so what they are actually talking about. What is if they are, what are the units. Sometimes what happens is, when we calculate, the question is asked in some other unit, graph is given on some other unit, and you calculate the things out of some other unit. Okay, so it is very important that you first, it is data interpretation. The name itself says that you have to interpret the data which is given. So let the data be in whatever form, whether it is tables, graphs, or pie chart. Okay, what you have to ideally do is, you first have to analyze x-axis kya, y-axis kya, what are the units, and what they have asked. Sometimes what happens is, trap errors kahan pe hote hain. 2015, 16, 17 is given on the data, and you have been asked 2018. You have been asked to interpret the data for 2018. Okay, and you do some errors there, like you think that okay, ye jo graph mein diya hai usme se hi kuch puchna hai, and you that just skips out of your mind. So it is very important that you read the graph entirely and actually understand what do you deduce out of it, and then jump back to questions. Okay, adding on to this point, adding on to whatever I've said, the next important factor that you need to consider while you are solving a data interpretation question is taking care of your approximations. Okay, now actually I've written down all of those points, so I would recommend that you are also noting down all of these things. So approximations, why I have noted down this is because a lot of students do this mistake. If the question says that you have to write your answers approximately, you don't have to come to the final figure, but approximation works. Okay, so you need not crack your head and use pen, paper, use that calculator, on screen calculator, and come up to the final set which was there, like the final answer which was there. When it is mentioned that you have to solve this question with approximations, so you should be very well versed with all your percentage changes and deducing approximately, not actually being able to solve end to end and coming up to the answer. So please, 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 whenever you come across a data interpretation set and a question in your GRE exam, please note that you check for the approximations, that whether you have been asked to come up with the exact answer, or you have been asked to approximately deduce, what will happen is you will save a lot of time, and that time you can use for other questions as well. Because I have seen a lot of students, they solve the entire question and they come and they are so happy, and then they see that ye to approximately tha, and you have spent already 3, 4, 5 minutes, which is too much for spending on one question on a GRE exam. Okay, so that is one thing that I want you to keep in mind. Last but not the least, solving a data interpretation question, what you have to keep in mind is common percentage to fractions. Okay, so you should be very well versed that how are you going to 1 upon 5 is 20%, and 1 upon 2 is 50%. All of those things you need to be very well versed with, because lot of times you would be asked direct questions. The answer is 20% and 1 of 5 already diya hua hai. Okay, so if you are very well versed with the idea and concepts of common percentage to fractions, then it is going to be very easy. You will be able to solve these things quickly. Okay, so coming back again, these were the 5 tips that you need to keep in mind when you are solving a GRE data interpretation question. Reiterating, the questions are not more of logic based, but they are calculation intensive. So if you are very well versed with your mental maths, and how to convert percentage to fractions, fractions to percentage, whole numbers to fractions, and percentage increase decrease, so if you are very well versed with these foundational concepts, and I've always been telling you that GRE Quants revolves around working on your foundations. If your foundations are strong, then you will be easily able to ace your GRE. Okay, so if you can, and one more important thing was about approximations. Okay, so if you are very careful, and if you're able to actually solve all of these questions with approximations and logical, only thing that you have to take care of is calculation intensity, and that can happen through practice and working on your Vedic maths and mental maths abilities. Okay, so this is all in today's live. Tomorrow I will come across with another live session with you, same time 10 o'clock. So stay glued with you. All your friends who are preparing for your GRE, what you can do is you can share the channel link, and ask them if this is going to be helpful. If it is helpful for you, so it is also going to be helpful for everybody. So do like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel for more GRE videos and updates. And there is a bell icon there. If you click on the bell icon, you will get daily notifications. I hope you guys are enjoying these live sessions and all my videos. If there is some particular topic you want me to do video on, just use your chat buttons and type in. I'll make sure that in the upcoming weeks I'll do a video on that particular session. All serious aspirants, don't waste time, get to the course. I have done a video on dashboard wherein you will be able to see what dashboard looks like. So get onto the course, meet me every Monday, Friday, meet me for mentorship session, and together we'll be able to achieve a GRE dream score of 320 plus. Okay, so if anybody wants to conduct some mentorship session with me, a counseling session with me, my Calendly link is given below. You can book up a slot and I can see you for a 30-minute Zoom session and help you out with all the queries. And course link is also there in the description for all those people who are interested in buying the course. This is Aishwarya signing off. I will see you tomorrow, same time, 10 o'clock with another GRE King live. Till then, bye-bye. Good night. Have a good night. Bye-bye.